Next story. Tech giant warns CISPA is alarming threat to privacy. Tech giant Mozilla has publicly slammed the Cyber Intelligence Sharing and Protection Act, CISPA, which passed the House last week, labeling the legislation an alarming threat to privacy. And you can read the full statement on Infowars.com. So basically, every other Silicon Valley giant is backing this bill because they know that the backlash that we saw with SOPA hasn't arrived. It hasn't been allowed to build that kind of momentum. But kudos to Mozilla for condemning this because they're the only ones to do so. Apple, Google, AOL, Symantec, all of them are backing this. And of course, CISPA has passed the House, but it's heading to the Senate where it's going to be amalgamated with two other bills, one of two other bills, one of which is sponsored by Joe, we need an internet kill switch like communist China Lieberman. Again, that's of no concern whatsoever. And then obviously it heads to Obama's desk, but don't worry, because he's promised to veto it, just like he promised to veto the NDAA, and we all know how that ended up. So what precisely will CISPA enact if it is allowed to pass? Well, according to TechDirt's Lee Beeden, who's analysed the bill, quote, the government will be able to search information it collects under CISPA for the purposes of investigating American citizens with complete immunity from all privacy protections as long as they can claim someone committed a, quote, cybersecurity crime. Basically, it says the Fourth Amendment does not apply online at all. That's right, completely kills it stone dead. Moreover, the government can do whatever it wants with the data as long as it can claim that someone was in danger of bodily harm or that the children were somehow threatened. The children, it's all for the children. And of course, we reported on another provision of CISPA, which is the fact that it allows the DHS to intercept all federal communications, including your tax returns. So unless the fight to push back CISPA gains in momentum, all the people who fought SOPA are going to find that their efforts were in vain. Homeland Security official tweets Socialist applause, Happy May Day, from the Daily Caller. And there's also an Infowars.com article about this as well. A staffer for President Barack Obama's Department of Homeland Security is praising the left-wing May Day protests. On Tuesday evening, Nate Snyder, the special advisor to Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano for, quote, community partnership and strategic engagement, tweeted, quote, Happy May Day, hashtag solidarity. And this follows on, of course, from yesterday's story about the Obama-Biden re-election campaign slogan, which, of course, is forward, borrowed from Marxist and communist publications and political slogans of decades past. And of course, we know, as Joel Skousen documented at length yesterday, May 1st is the International Day of Commies. It's the day China and North Korea and the former Soviet Union like to roll out their tanks and celebrate communism and red terror and that kind of cuddly-feely thing. So the fact that the Obama administration, you know, with Obama himself, his history, his rise to prominence being off the back of the communist weather underground terrorist Bill Ayers, and of course the DHS, whose every action seems to revolve around turning the United States into America with a K, they're both hailing Global Communist Day, so it makes perfect sense. Very fitting indeed.